that is gonna be. All right. I think now, yeah, I think we're fine now. Wow. Friends, thank you so very much and welcome once more. And sorry for those delays because we had a power outage. I think it affected the tower of our network. That is why we had that challenge. But now we're back on track. And I was still saying, you are all welcome to Love SA, which is the Nehemiah phenomenon. When we talk of the Nehemiah phenomenon, we're talking about let us all arise and build. And I said, John F. Kennedy, in his inaugural address, inspired children and adults to see the importance of civic action and public service. This is what your country can do for you, but do for your country. He was charging every American in public good. And President Clinton in 1993, he brought up act of Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as I welcome you Love SA program, the Nehemiah phenomenon. I just want to say thank you so very much for tuning in on radio, for tuning in on Facebook, and also on us. Very proud of our guest this evening because our guest, she's a great mother, she's a woman of God, and at the very same time, she has served the public service so beautifully so in different positions. And not only that, in fact, in leadership positions, she served for about 15 years. So she has sound knowledge and experience in dealing with economic and community matters. This is the kind of leader that we're talking to today. She initiated and led several new initiatives in the department where she was working. Passionate about development. That's the kind of person we're talking to tonight. And one other thing that stands out about her is education, her belief in education. You know, she got her master's of engineering in mining, specializing in mining in the University of Witwatersrand, you know, and then also going back, you know, in the very same university, that's where she got a diploma in engineering mining, the University of Limpopo, Graduate School of Leadership. That's what she did, executive management program certificate, just to mention but a few. And of course, in the University of South Africa, that's where she did a BA, and the courses was economics and sociology. This is just to mention. She continued studying, she continued equipping herself as a leader, and some relevant skills about it is about regional and local development, concepts of development, ethics of development, strategic management, financial management, performance management, risk management, conflict resolution, just to mention but a few. And ladies and gentlemen, we're talking of a mother who served our government, and she retires at being at the Department of Economic Development and Economic Development, Environment and Tourism as an acting Deputy Director General in Economic Development Branch. And I would love to take this time, because if I start just diving into a resume, I'm telling you, you'll listen to me. And she is here today, so we are going to have the honor of getting it from the horse's mouth. And I'm so excited this evening to welcome on Love SA my mother, the woman of God, the pastor, and that is none other but Pastor Lilly Maja. Pastor, good evening and welcome to Love SA.
Good evening, Pastor, and good evening to my family, the family of Manna, and all the listeners that are on this platform today. It's my pleasure and my honor to be here.
Thank you so very much, Mama. You know, I was trying just to tell my viewers and my listeners exactly what to expect, but I must be honest, there is a lot. And tonight, we just want to take this time to start by celebrating you, celebrating your life, celebrating your contribution, and celebrating what you stand for. That is integrity, excellency in service, and that stands out. And also you have been education as a public servant, which you continued studying, you continued doing courses, and your love for development, and more especially of communities. Mama, we just want to say welcome, and tonight we're taking it light. We just want to say congratulations to you. Thank you for serving our nation. Thank you for serving God by saving his people. And this evening, I just want you to tell us where it all started. I know it's a long journey. You've been in public service for 40 good years. Just tell us the highlights of the journey. 40 years. Somebody was born, they went to school, they finished, they graduated, they got married, they've got children, they've got family. And that is the journey of your life. Could you please just reflect back and tell us some of those things that you remember, the beginning of this journey of 40 years? Even as they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with just one step. What can you tell us about those humble beginnings?
Thank you, Pastor. Yeah, it's it was really a long time, but I must say I don't regret even 1 minute that I've spent in government, because I'm seated here today, being the woman that I am, the mother that I am, the leader that I am, because of the time and the opportunity that was given to me to be able to be part of government. And maybe I must indicate that there's one person that I want to acknowledge today. He's my father. He is the person who actually encouraged me to
Mm,
be government. It was never my wish to be part of government, but he encouraged me
mm,
to join government, and I listened to him as a father, and I'm
mm,
very happy that I
mm,
took that opportunity to be able to join government. As
mm,
indicated, I started from a very, very low level, Pastor.
mm,
I
mm,
indicated the last time that I started in the registry where I was actually filing filing documents.
mm,
But being the person that I am, like I indicated, I like order. During my time in the registry, our filing system was one of the best,
mm, mm,
because I felt like I was uh, packing my wardrobe at work. That's how much I
yeah.
took that work so seriously. I remember the person that I was reporting to, he used to look
Mm,
at me and say, I wonder if you are going to sustain that. And I surprised him. I said, because I was doing it from the heart. And yeah,
yes.
and I
Mm,
grew in the department from those low levels.
mm,
I went to lower management level. I became an assistant director. I became a deputy director. I became a director and a chief director. In fact, I became a director sector
mm,
development. That's when I realized that I really need to ensure that I also improve my qualifications, because I was responsible
mm,
for different sectors of the economy. So you have got to be an all-rounder. And so one of the most important sectors of the economy of our province was mining. Hence, that is why I had to go and do mining. And yeah, I've also been a chief executive
yeah.
officer for the Waterberg district for our department, yes, where you are like the head of the department, because when you are there,
Oh,
you are
yes.
responsible for all the units within the department. And later on, I was moved back to Cape
mm,
Town, where I started
mm,
the director for mining development. I mean, the directorate for mining development. And yes, this has been my my journey. I'm retiring, like you are saying, as an executive deputy director general in the department. And like I'm saying, I enjoyed every minute. Yes, I made mistakes, obviously, but I
mm,
learned from those mistakes. There are
mm,
things that I've lost in the process, but
mm,
they've made me the person that I am today. I don't regret. I'm so thankful. I'm so appreciative for having
mm,
served my province, for having served my country, South Africa.
Your journey is, of course, exposed you to a lot of things, and one of which, let's talk about civil service itself, or being a public servant. You have started working back in the then government, and we until the dawn of democracy. What are some of the things that, when you're looking back and now, you'll say you have picked up during these two dispensations, the of our oppression and the new dispensation of our democracy, and zooming specifically to public service?
Yeah. One of the things that I remember very well is when we started SMME development.
Mm,
Pastor, I'm one of those people that started SMME development as a concept. Remember when
yes,
the 10 different governments were combined, we did not have that particular concept. So I worked with
yes,
industry in the province.
yes.
And today, when we talk about SMME development, that's the key of the economy. We started that from zero, moving from one district to another to ensure that we build structures
Mm,
and we encourage people to get into business.
mm,
And I'm seated here today. Sometimes I look at some of the women that I worked with. Some of them are
mm,
millionaires. They are still running businesses, and I'm saying
mm.
it was worth every minute. It was worth every minute. And again, we've built the government. From
Yes.
coming, I mean, people from Limpopo, people from Vembe, people from Guyana, coming together and ultimately becoming one. As you look at government today, you cannot actually see that we used to have
Mm,
a different governments. We are just one government
mm,
with the same plan and the same vision.
mm. Very powerful, Mama. And looking at the development of the SME, which, like you say, out of it, great business people, business women came out. And today, we're talking of economic challenges. What is your advice, and what will be the focus as we try and rebuild our economy, more especially even after COVID?
Yeah, one of the most important things that I have actually learned and that I'm still learning now is
Mm,
that the mistake that we did in the past was to build SMMEs without starting from the market. Because if you produce things that are not informed by
okay.
the market, you don't know who you are going to be selling to. But where I am now, I am very very convinced to say you must first ensure that you get a market, because
Mm,
the market will inform you first about the quality of what you are
mm,
supposed to be producing, about the quantity, about
mm,
the requirements of whoever that you are going to be supplying. So for
mm,
me, starting with the market, it's very key. And this
mm,
is the message that I hope SMEs can actually understand, to say, understand the market, understand what, for example, your Pick and Pay actually wants, understand what the automotive industry wants, so
mm,
that whatever that you are doing, you know that you are producing what is needed and what is in compliance with
mm.
whoever that you are going to be supplying to.
Wow. That's very, very critical indeed, because otherwise you produce things that at the end of the day, after you've put your money on the ground, it cannot really come back. And looking at specifically as a mother, how do you see mothers, women, province where you've served for all these? How do you see them taking off, most especially when it comes to SMMEs and being able to fend for their families?
What I've seen, Pastor, with women is that women bring a particular element to
Mm,
the working environment, and
mm.
also I think to the business environment. There's a certain element of motherhood that you are bringing.
Oh,
You you
yes.
you are, you are you are bringing something from your heart. And
Mm,
for me, I think that is what is so critical about a women being
mm,
in business and also in government. When you are in government, you want to build a family. You
mm,
want to build to ensure that there's unity. You have got
mm,
one vision, and you want to influence to say the same way that I'm running my household, that's how
mm,
I want to take care of the resources of government. So
mm,
you bring something that is very, very critical to ensure that with the resources that you are having as government, it has to go a long way. I remember something that the Right Reverend, is that Moyane,
yes.
that said about management the last time
Mm,
you were interviewing.
mm,
He said
mm,
management is being able to utilize the little resources to
mm,
achieve the greatest benefit.
mm, mm,
And that's what is very, very critical now in
mm,
government. There were
mm,
times when resources were available, but the
mm.
resources are very limited. And
Oh, yes.
the demands in our communities are so high. So it
Mm,
means that with the little resources that you are having, you have got to ensure that you go a long way and be able to reach as many people as possible.
mm.
And I believe this is one thing that women are bringing into the environment.
Very powerful. And looking at public servants today, what would you love to advise uh, public servants? Because these are the people that truly are serving the public, like we call it public service. If it is on economic development, that those are the people that are responsible for development economically. And having served in different positions, more especially for 15 years in managerial or leadership positions, what are some of the things that you would love to share to public servants or public service?
Papa, I want to say, um, yes, there are public servants that might not be doing what they're supposed to do.
Mm,
But my experience has shown me that there are public servants that are going an extra mile.
mm,
Like I'm saying, resources are very limited
yes.
and the demands are so high.
Mm,
It reminds me of early, I think it was early this year when we're doing the back to school a campaign with my MEC. We
mm,
went to quite a number of schools around, in fact, around Polokwane.
mm,
And I've noticed how some of the public servants are really
mm,
even utilizing their own resources to ensure
yes.
that learners are able to, I mean, to get the support that they actually need. I was touched by
Mm,
one principal who
mm,
was even teaching during weekends.
mm,
He was even after teaching the learners, he'll even take them to back to their homes.
yes. Mm,
But sometimes it will be late. He would not take a risk of saying, go and use public transport. He'll go and deliver them home. And you
mm,
know, it's those type of public servants that
mm,
you want to actually focus on. Because if you want
mm,
South Africa to be a better place, those are the type of people that we need to support. And I want
mm,
to say we should not paint the public servants with the same paint. There are
yes.
those people that are really trying by all means. We also have got professionals, doctors
Mm,
in our province.
mm,
that pastor are going to different schools to go and provide extra lessons to the
mm,
learners.
mm, mm,
Also give also other support, like kids that need, for example, psychologists and the like. They go
mm,
to these to schools to go and support and support
mm,
schools, and not because they want to be paid. It's
mm.
because they've realized that the country needs each and every one of us.
Very true.
Yes, to ensure that we build a better Limpopo and a better South Africa. And that is
Mm,
why I'm saying the experience that I've seen, I want to focus on the positive, because I
yes.
think the negative won't actually take us anywhere. I want to say
Yes.
there are public servants that are really
Mm,
committed to making a
mm,
dent, to making an impact in our country.
mm. And tonight, as we look at the Nehemiah phenomenon, let us arise and build. What is a message of encouragement out of their way to make sure that service is delivered to the masses of our people? And some using their own resources, like you said, some taking their own time and making sure that they go all out. Because sometimes, like you say, because people are disgruntled in a particular department or in a particular section of service delivery, then they take a black paint and paint the whole public service as if nothing that people are doing. What ways of encouragement would you give to all public servants, those that are diligent and those that are tired? Because sometimes you find that you have been giving your all, and then it's like you're hitting on a rock, and you finally give up and say, what, 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 what's the fuss? After all, let me do what I'm supposed to do. What are your ways of encouragement? Because when we look at your track record, you have been diligent to the last day of your public service.
Pastor, I often use the analogy of being a parent.
Mm,
I'm sure a lot of parents will agree with me. When you raise your kids, there's a time during the period when they are growing up, when they
mm,
get out of alignment. Let me use that
mm,
word.
mm,
When you find that you see or one of your kids is getting out of alignment. I have
mm,
never seen a parent that has killed such a child.
mm,
You'll ensure that you work on this child and ensure that ultimately is back in alignment. And I believe also with
mm,
the public, I mean with the public servants, is
mm,
that let us be patient with them. And I'm
mm.
sure most people are not aware that resources, Pastor, are very limited in government.
Yes. Mm,
Worse
mm,
after COVID-19, resources are very limited.
mm,
And to
mm,
find that a person is doing work for about 3 or 4 people,
mm,
of which is a lot. At one time, you feel so drained. For
mm,
example, where I was working, I was doing work for about 5 executives. You can
mm.
imagine when I ultimately knock off and go home, how
Yes.
exhausted am I? Yes,
Yes.
yeah,
Mm,
yes. So it's
mm.
those type of environments where I'm saying, as you build, you have got to be patient.
Yes.
Just like the sibling that will be patient with your family. And my wish and my plea to South Africans and
Mm,
to all the other public servants is to say, let's utilize the little that we have
mm.
and ensure that we build our country. Nobody
Yes.
is going to make South Africa a better place. And,
Mm,
and, and that is why even after I've retired now,
mm,
I'm very active on the ground.
mm.
And I decided that I'm going to be, because I believe the experience that I got from government, the exposure that I got from government should not go to waste. I cannot come sit here at home, robala, ke lebelle TV.
Mm.
I've been given so much exposure that can
Yes.
actually assist our communities. So I'm
Mm.
taking that knowledge back to our communities where I'm being given an opportunity to be able to serve. And I'm
Yes.
sure many other people are doing that. And if
Mm.
we can all just try and influence just a little corner one life at a time. I believe South Africa is going to be a better place. And I'm one person who believes that no one is going to come from outside and come
Yes.
and ensure that they help us. We have
Yes.
got to put our hands together and say, how do you ensure that we give our bit?
Mm.
I mean, I'm looking at whatever that I'm having today, and I'm saying to myself, if it was not for this government, I would not be
Yes.
seated here, Pastor. I will
Mm.
not be
Mm.
sitting in this house. I'm in this house because I had an opportunity. And I
Mm.
believe the least that I can do is to go
Mm.
back and be able to serve. And I'm
Yes.
prepared to do that. Just
Mm.
like Joshua said, that I just want to quote it properly. I am
Yes.
as strong as I was the day Moses sent me out. And I want to
Yes.
say, as strong as I was when I joined government. And I will continue to serve until such time when I feel that I'm not able to. But for now, I'm still very energetic. And there's no way
Yes.
that I'm going to lie down and
Mm.
not go there and ensure that I'm doing something.
Mama, that's powerful. In fact, what inspired Love SA is the fact that I've realized that there is no love for our own country. While uh, is to be honest, is one of the best countries within the continent. I had an opportunity of traveling other African countries, and I've seen how much good infrastructure we have when it comes to a lot of things. And in recent days, we've realized that when people are disgruntled of anything, they go is either they ban a school or they ban the road and all that. And then we said, hey, love SA, love South Africa. Let it be the Nehemiah phenomenon. May we all rise up in our own corner, using our own expertise or our own skills to build, not to break, not to tear apart. You're saying something that nobody will come and build South Africa for us. And this is the concern that we have, the destruction of infrastructure and all this um, self hate, destroying and pulling down our country. When we pull it down, we'll not have anything left. And that is why we felt it very much important as a radio that let us have this program, Love South Africa. And at the very same time, one of the things that I've realized, and I'm happy we're sitting here today with our government, there's a lot that our government is doing, but I feel like it is not given mileage enough. It is only little negatives here and there that are given mileage, even in our mainstream media. It will be given mileage. I remember talking to one lady in Mozambique in the office of the High Commissioner. And she said, when I came to South Africa, I stayed in the house. I will not move out. And until my mother said, hey, what's wrong with you? And she said, I'm scared. What I see on news when I'm out there, it's like you come out of your house, you'll be sliced to pieces, just like that. Why? Because our mainstream media concentrate and zooms closely to all the negative. Yes, we've got crime. Yes, we've got negative things, but there is much good than negative. But it is not spoken of.
Yeah.
That is why we say, let it be the Nehemiah phenomenon. Let us arise and build. Let us talk about the good that our government, that our people, because when we say our government, we're talking about our people that are working in government. Let's talk about the good that they are doing. I love it when you say, I want to concentrate on the positive, not the negative, because the negative, we have enough of the negative. We don't run short of the negative. It is there in our news, it's there everywhere. But we want a breath of fresh air where we see hope, where we see future, where we see a South Africa where our great grandchildren will live in. On that note, I'm going to take this commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue. But Mama, thank you so very much for taking this time to share with us your journey and to encourage us and to applaud and also encourage civil servants to say, hey, let us brace up, let us do our part, and let us also, as the general public, be gracious and be understanding, and look at ourselves. I think even as the general public, we have places where we serve. And what is it that am I doing? What is it that I'm doing in my own corner? As a pastor, what am I doing? Am I sitting back, blaming and pointing fingers, or what am I doing? And while we have a funeral tomorrow of our sister, Mrs. Mzanani, and we have to rush to a vendor to lay her to rest, Saturday morning, I was approached by Dr. Sipuru to come and speak to a learners of his circuit. And I said, I am coming, no matter how tired I am. Why? Because I must be part of the solution and not
Yeah.
part of the problem. And this is how we build South Africa. Every one of us, there's something that you can do and make sure that South Africa becomes a better country than when you found it, because we came and we found it, but we must leave it better and greater. Thank you so very much. We're taking a commercial break. You're listening to Bold Moves Radio, and the program is called the Love SA, the Nehemiah Phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.
My name is John Mutimele. I'm a member of one of the teams that were led by Mrs. Maja at LIDET, Limpopo Department of Economic Development, Environment and Tourism. I have
You are listening to Bold Moves Radio, boldly breaking barriers and limitations. And the program is Love SA, the Nehemiah Phenomenon. And we are in conversation with our mom, Pastor Lilly Maja, who has served our government for 40 good years. And we celebrated tonight, and allow her to speak for us all and say encourages us to be able to rise up and build. Mama, when you started John Mutimela speaking, one of your former team members, what comes to mind?
What comes to mind is what we went through, Pastor, when we're dealing with our communities. Sometimes as a public servant, it's you find yourself in areas that are so dangerous, but you have got to go in there and ensure that you talk to these members, you bring the members of the community and the private sector around the table so that you can be able to find a solution. I remember myself in Timele some few years. Palabora was on its knees. People were on strike. They had blocked the streets, and you could not get into Palabora. We're actually driving on the gravel path, going to one of the mines in Palabora, and it was very dangerous to start with because we could have been killed in the process. But we went there and we sat with the members of the community, we sat with guys from the union, we sat with the mine, and we negotiated until 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when we reached an agreement. We're in Palabora, we did not plan to sleep in Palabora. We're supposed to drive back. And members of the community said to us, okay, we have agreed, but community outside is still angry. They are not aware that we've reached an agreement. So we don't want you to take a risk and drive back. So we had to sleep in Palabora. We booked in a hotel without any washing rack, without anything.
Yes.
We slept there in the hotel. And in the morning, we bathed and we had breakfast. We drove back to Bulukwane. So, these are some of the environments that I remember. And I remember sometimes when I was in Sikukune, when members of the community were up in arms. And it was very dangerous because they had burnt things, and the young boys that were burning, they were sitting somewhere on top of the mountain. And I had to ensure that I bring them down. I managed to get some of their telephone numbers, and I called them to say, guys, you can't sit there in the mountain for more than a week when it's so dark. You've got to come down so that you can come and talk. And after some few days, I managed to get them down, and we were able to sit together with one of the mines. And ultimately, we managed to have an agreement. And as I'm talking today, I met some of the young men that were so very, very dangerous during that time. They are now gentlemen. They are being employed by the clients. They are when you look at them, you can't even believe what these are the young guys that used to give us so much trouble. But that pastor confirms the type of environment in
Yes.
which we've been working. But it was worth every minute. It was worth every risk that we took, because it was about the economy of our province. Because you cannot afford to let the economy collapse because there's disagreement between mining community and the mine. And that's what I remember with Ntatimutiwele. And I know he's still going to be going through these challenges, but over time you learn how to deal with members of the community. Thanks. Yeah.
And on that note, Mama, on that note, because dealing more with mine communities or members of communities where there are mines, some of the dynamics and in projects or initiatives that you remember of the calf of that you have put in place, have bettered the communities, like you say, young gen, you look at them today, you are families, you are mothers, but your life was at risk to make sure that there's progress and there's development. What are some of the experiences, good experiences or good projects that you're thinking of as we talk of mining communities?
Pastor, where I am involved at the present moment, we had a community hall that the mine built for one of the communities. And unfortunately, because of the disagreement, the community hall was burnt down. And it was standing like that for years. They could not use it anymore. But when I looked at that hall, I realized that it's not everyone that wanted to destroy the hall.
Oh, yes.
2 or 3 elements that went to go and burn the hall. And I feel it will be unfair to let the community suffer because 2 people burned that particular hall. I know also that if community does something like that, it becomes so difficult to raise funds to be able to repair those type of facilities. But I'm standing here today to say that hall, Pastor, we've repaired the hall, and members of the community enjoy utilizing that. I've seen young people are always in that community hall, so it means that they needed that infrastructure, but there were
Yes.
2 or 3 elements that just
Yes.
were out of the way that actually ended up banning that particular infrastructure. And my wish and my plea is that the private sector can sometimes try to understand, because I struggle so much to raise funds for that community hall. Where when you go to the private sector, they will say, for as long as community has banned the hall, we are not part of it, because we are afraid that if we ban, they'll if we repair, they'll continue in the future. But again, it is delaying progress of our communities, and our communities over time, they start to understand that I really need this facility, so I must
Yes.
protect it. That is what I'm saying. My wish is that we focus on the positive. Where you find that people are saying, let's rebuild,
Yes.
let's work together and rebuild our communities, rebuild our country. Yes,
Very
Pastor.
beautiful. And that Mama leads us to one of the questions which I know I'll give you all the time to answer it, and that is where to from here. Because I think it's whether it's Dr. Miles Monroe or Dr. Sunday Adelaja who said, when you have found your work, you don't retire from it. You retire to it, and a work saying it's something that I do just for survival. But my work is something that I do because it's my purpose. And in my job, I can find my work. And once I find my work, then it's for life. Because, even when the time comes where I have to officially put tools down, more especially being in the system of government, but I cannot stop. I continue doing it. So I would love for us to look at that. But before we do so, allow me to take this time and just break. It's about, what is that? About 11 minutes to 8 o'clock. Time just flies. But we're taking this time, Mama, just to celebrate you and just to appreciate you. And when we come back, we'll be looking at exactly where to from here. The energy, like you said, the energy that you have will not let you sit down, but want to know, uh, you have all the time, if one will say, but you realize that even in the all the time, sometimes you don't have enough time. But let me just take this commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be looking exactly on that.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Streaming 24.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa, nakupenda sana.
Thank you, Pastor Jolene and Pastor Strike, for the opportunity to talk about our mother and grandmother. We would also like to thank the church for celebrating Mama in such a wonderful way. For us, the 40 years went fast, but we are hoping the next will go slowly so that we say Maja be a former colleague to others and a former head of the unit to some, but to us, she has always been Mama, a soft place to fall after a hard day, a pillar of strength in times of need. We are sure if Mama could speak about her work experience, it would take a whole day or two. We know that Mama took pride in her work, uplifting people at grassroots level and seeing them reach their full potential. She would talk about amazing products that small, medium, and micro enterprises were manufacturing. She traveled so much, locally and overseas, bringing us gifts on her trips as well as news of developments from countries she visited. We know that Mama has had an impact in her industry as well as on people's lives. We would meet people who've met her at conferences, exhibitions, launches, and they would comment on how blessed we are to have her as a mother. But we knew because we received the full person. Mama is hardworking and she does expect the same from others around her. She is the same with us and we understand her by honoring her in every way we can. When people talk about the proverbial woman, we know who we are talking about. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Our mother. Her actions are innate, intentional, and justable. She has to be this way for us, to teach us that wherever we are, we represent her. We represent the kingdom of the Most High. That we just don't do things because, but for the betterment of us and those around us, as well as future generations. And as a result, we have taken this trait into our workplaces, our academics, our parenting, our friendships. People see her when they see us. We are blessed to have you, Mama. We thank God for you, for keeping you and making you the way you are. You embodied yourself so well, and no one could have played the role you did at your workplace than you. You were chosen for the time and place. Congratulations on your service, and as you continue working for the community of Limpopo, may God give you double the strength and capabilities He bestowed on you over the last 40 years. We love you, Mama.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is. Streaming 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Africa, nakupenda sana. Oh, Africa, nakupenda sana.
Well, welcome back, family. Welcome back. You know, time is just flying, and we're having a great time here. And those are children and grandchildren of our mom. And, Mama, when you hear your family applauding you, celebrating you tonight, what comes to mind, and what would you love to say to them?
Pastor, I'm so thankful for this family.
Mm,
They've been a support throughout.
mm,
They have been a reason why I woke up. They've been a reason why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. The
mm,
grandchildren that they've given me is what also pushes me to say my
mm,
grandchildren are going to have a better life in this particular country, and I should
mm,
be part of those people that are going to make South Africa better. Let me go
mm,
to the
mm,
my plan um, now that I've retired.
mm,
Pastor, I've been given an opportunity to have partnerships when I was in
mm,
the department. I've made friends, I've met people. I know a lot of people in our province. I've
mm,
been given an opportunity to sit on boards to understand corporate governance. And I
mm,
believe with all that knowledge that I've gained, this is what
mm,
I'm teaching to my communities. And as I'm
mm,
talking, I'm sitting on quite a number of, I'm sitting on about 2 trusts, but I'm also still sitting on some of the boards because I
mm,
believe that the experience that I got in government was just
mm.
not meant for the office, was meant for the
Yes.
kingdom.
Mm,
And that is why I'm spending my time, that is why I'm spending my energy. You know,
mm,
I get so touched, especially now after I've been home.
mm.
I've been to, at least I'm now able to go to the community even on Saturdays and during the week, just to go and see what is actually happening.
Yes.
And I've realized that young people in our communities, they just need someone to talk to.
Yes.
They need someone who can give them an ear.
Mm,
You know, I was touched recently. We had a career expo at one of the communities, and
mm,
the young people came at 10 o'clock. Pastor, they were there until 6 o'clock in the evening.
mm,
on a Saturday. Usually, young people can't be at an environment until that late. That
Yes.
shows how much they want to engage. But
Yes.
we've been so busy, and sometimes when you have retired, you feel that you have done your part. You want just to go and rest. When actually you put effort in sitting with them and engaging them. One of the things that we did with the Career Expo was to assist them, those that were doing grade 11, to apply for university entrance, not
Yes.
just to show them, to assist them to apply.
Mm.
And by the time I left there around 6 coming back to Polokwane, they were still
Mm.
waiting there because we had computers where we're assisting them to, to apply. And I was asking myself, how many other young people want this type of support
Mm.
in different areas? And that
Mm.
support, Pastor, it does not take anything. You take your laptop, there's Wi-Fi, you connect to the Wi-Fi, you are able to
Mm.
get into the system and assist them. And there are other
Mm.
young people in the community, by Longkore, they know what to do. They just need a
Yes.
laptop and they'll be able to assist other learners in the area. And
Yes.
that's a challenge. It has encouraged me to say, there is so much that needs to be done. I
Yes.
remember asking them because at this hall that I'm talking about, there's a tennis court at the back. And I'm asking them, and I'm like, why are you not utilizing this tennis court? They say it's
Yes.
because there's no one to teach us.
Mm.
And I mean,
Mm.
you just need someone who can come in and show them
Mm.
how to play tennis. And also
Mm.
take that tennis court and ensure that they're also able to play netball on that particular field. And
Mm.
you'll find that there are so many people that are seated at home and doing absolutely nothing with that skill, which we can
Mm.
take to our local community and take our kids out of Nyawupe and ensure that they spend their time more productively. And that is why I'm saying that's an area,
Mm.
Pastor, where I'm spending my time, and I'm doing that from the heart. I'm not doing that because I want money.
Mm.
I'm doing that because I feel I need to do it for South Africa. I need to do it for my province. I need to plow back into my communities. And I'll continue doing that until
Mm.
God says it's time for you to sit down. But for now,
Mm.
that's what I'm doing.
That is powerful. That is powerful, Pastor Lily. And thank you so very much. I see here Mama Tsakan Selisho saying such a beautiful testimony for women of honor. Pastor Lily Maja, a woman of wisdom, a servant leader, a beautiful woman, smart, dignified, and aura of strength. You are a role model to many. Congratulations on a beautiful service delivery with exceptional service. And then, of course, Mama Dokas Mulomo saying, indeed, Pastor Lily, you are an all-rounder. You raised me up from childhood and you are still mothering me today. I've seen you work so hard in the family, and I'm not surprised to see you, to see and hear your testimony in government and society at large. Thank you for being an instrument of righteousness and letting God be seen in you. May the Lord continue to bless. I love what Rosemary says. She says, well done, Pastor Lee. You have served well. I remember my encounter with you in the department years back in 2009. Your passion for economic development, you held such a big position in the department, but you came down to my level in the EIA directorate to inquire about a mining project I was working on. I saw your passion for economic development for our province. You inspired so many of us. These are the messages that comes to you, Pastor Lily, and Pastor Jolene saying, well done and congratulations, Pastor Lily, for the 40 years of dedication in serving our nation. A woman of wisdom, humility, woman of faith. She's our inspiration. And with these words, it's just a minute after 8 o'clock, and I would humbly ask for 5 minutes because we had an an outage. We lost about we lost about 6 minutes in our beginning of the show. And then Pastor Ntsako, Eric Malek saying, "You are our great inspiration, Mama. More blessings to you." And these are the messages, like I said, Pastor Lilly, today, that we just here to celebrate you. We're here to tell you that we are proud of you and we are learning from you. And I love what you also are ready to do with communities. You're saying something very powerful, that some communities, young people, they just need somebody to come and teach them, train them on some skills, train them on some sport, and that's it. They are out of all destructive behavior. Instead of us sitting back and saying, "Bana ba machachi, ah, bana ba machachi, ah," what is it that we're doing? And that is so inspiring. Pastor Lilly, I would love, after even all these messages, I would love to take this time and give you an opportunity to give us something to take home, even as we close the show Love SA tonight. And in it also highlight maybe the importance of education as a civil servant, because we have seen you also while working at the very same time studying and bettering your knowledge, equipping yourself, which I trust positioned you better to serve even with more insight, understanding, wisdom. And let me give you this 4 minutes just for you to tell us whatever you'd love to tell us before we release you tonight.
First, I just want to thank my family. I want to also thank my co-workers, especially from Lidet. I had a very great team. And I believe that I've left a team that is going to take our province to another level. I believe in them. I know that they've got the capability to do that. Yes, I just want to encourage them and to thank them for the support that they've given me. And also just to thank my church. Pastor, your teachings, the impact, what you actually do. You often say you can't see under my teaching and remain the same. And I've seen that. And you also used to say that here at church, you are there for training, but I'm training you for the kingdom. And I've seen really that you are really training us for the kingdom. Because when you go out, I realize the work that you have been doing has so much rubbed on me, because I know that you are very passionate about education. This is the work that you used to do in schools, the schools that were not doing very well. You would go there, you would take some of the church members to go and encourage young people. You are still doing that. And that is why I believe, Pastor, that if we can just hold hands and change one life at a time, Limpopo
Yes.
is going to be a different place. Our
Amen.
grandchildren will have a better place to grow in, because we have lived our life, but we are concerned about our grandkids and our children to say, what type of country are we handing over to them? And I believe it's up to each of every man and every woman to stand up in our country and say, we are going to make this country, South Africa, a better country. And I must say, I'm part of that team. I'll always be there to ensure that I work with whoever want to ensure that South Africa becomes a better place. I must just thank everybody on the platform for being part of this session today, and also for acknowledging me. I really appreciate Pastor for this moment. Thank you so much.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we wrap up our show tonight. That is Love SA, the Nehemiah phenomenon, where we are, you can do for your country. Remember, it is us who must rise up and build so that our nation is no more a reproach. We cannot point fingers, we cannot keep on blaming, but we can really fold our sleeves and rise up and do something and make a difference in the corner where we are. as the song says, brighten the corner where you are. I would love to say to Pastor Lilly, thank you so very much. You really brighten the corner where, and I love your generational and futuristic approach, because sometimes when we grow older, all we are looking for is, look, little Sala Lily born, but you are a kind of a leader who says, I'm concerned about where my children and my grandchildren and my great grandchildren will be. And that's my concern. And that is why I say, let us love life. Let us love the future, that we invest into the future. And investing into the future talks about, what am I doing to make South Africa better? Don't concentrate on those who are trying to break it down. There are few who are trying to break it, but the majority, if we can rise up and make sure that we build it, I'm telling you, like somebody said, it is not the evil of the evildoers that it becomes a problem, but it's the silence of the good, it's the silence of the right. So the right, the good must rise up and they must do something. And as we do something, one person at a time, touching and changing lives, I tell you, we will live for our children's children a great and an awesome South. So very much for being part of this show. Thanks to Pastor Lilly Maja. Thanks to your children. Hey, Baneshu Realeboa, thank you so very much for helping us celebrate Mom tonight. And grandchildren, thank you so very much. I wish you had time also to speak with those tiny little voices that grandma knows better. But thank you so very much, and the Lord bless you. And the spiritual family, the church at large, Mana Tabernacle, our senior pastor. Hey, if you don't know Pastor Lilly, even the day our senior pastor was ordained into senior leadership of the church, being the senior pastor of our church, she was there standing with our pastor. And to date, they are standing together. And we just appreciate you, Mama, for the blessing that you are even to the work of God, to the church of the living God. And we're saying to the church as a whole, because in this platform, we cherish the body of Christ as a whole. Let us appreciate and let us applaud servants of God like Pastor Lilly. You know, one other thing that comes to my heart is that even as she was serving in government, she was doing the work of the Lord, serving God by serving his people, by serving communities. And she has touched life. She has changed lives. And there are lives that even today still have a good relationship with her because of that heart of serving. Thank you so very much, ladies and gentlemen. Until we meet next week on Thursday, when we host one of our brothers who is doing something to build South Africa, because he has started a marathon in the village. This marathon is bringing people from all over, and it has become a qualifier for even the Comrades Marathon. And these are ordinary people, but doing what they can right where they are with what they have to build South Africa. I just want to say thank you to you all and about. Thanks, Pastor Lilly, and a blessed night. Thank you very much.